A fire single resist plus resist all plus a primary plus vitality is just perfect. But then you've got to get past the numbers. Pretty decent little magic find amulet. Got a little bit of strength or dexterity. Maybe someone looking for a cheap magic find swap. Well, no, not even that. Because if you're just going for a swap, you want just a 38 or a 39 that you can afford cheaply. So this isn't going to cut it. Alright, so I'm going to sell this, pick everything up off the ground and put it back in the tab, and then reload again. I think I got a couple new pieces since the last video, in the last day. My DPS went up to, something's different. Did I just sell something I shouldn't have? Hold on a second, I'm going to pause. Alright, yes I did. I sold my chest. And I really hope it's still here. Holy shit, I think I just sold my chest. Yes. No, I didn't. It's right here. Primary shell. So, I accidentally clicked the wrong button. I noticed my DPS wasn't what it should be. There we go. That was close. It's not a great piece. It's one of the first ones I'm gonna replace, but it is absolutely arm and a leg above a chest that I just wanted to vendor. Almost 3k damage and 5,000 life difference. I really wish there was an option to lock your character. Blizzard, please get this passed along to you. Just a little checkbox down here, which means you have to uncheck that box if you want to trade anything off again. When you're right-clicking to sell to a vendor and you're right-clicking to switch out equipment on your character, it's just there's way too much room for error there, as you can just see. If I hadn't clicked on that and said, "Oh, hey, my damage has changed," I wouldn't have noticed that until I was too late. Oh, and I got a my first set piece ever, so while I do that, I'm saving that for this. It's a ring. There's like I think 3 or 4 different set rings of level 61 that it can be. So. Yeah, so that's a good tip out there for everyone. You know, take one specific, I would say damage, just maybe damage and armor. Just kind of have an eyeball of what that is if you're doing a large ID session. And if for any reason, if those change in or outside of your buffs, you know your gear's changed a little. Okay. Resist all, double primaries, and poison resist, and a bad gold roll. Low two-hander. Low two-hander. Low damage affix and no crit. And low primary values. Life on kill, not life on hit. It has a huge amount of strength and intelligence, but something this low really is going to need crit plus a socket to overcome the 500 or 600 range. Chance to block's way too low, but it's got a decent crit roll, but no primaries, no vitality to speak of. 7 on a two-hander. Pretty decent. It's a low resist all roll, but that's almost secondary here. Maybe someone wants to try and tack on a Magic Find affix onto affordable boots. And these would definitely be affordable. I'm certainly not saying they're worth money, but for someone looking, this is 5 out of 5 affixes that will work for them. It's a large physical roll, which really helps. That's kind of the only saving grace here. If it was a 27, or if it was a lightning, you know, cold, poison, it probably wouldn't be worth it, but this is definitely worth checking out. Strength, vitality, and the life regen per second is low enough that it would be considered a bonus affix, not really a primary affix. Numbers are getting a little better here. Attack speed, vitality, crit damage, a little bit of maximum fury. I really think that's way too low though on the numbers. I think you're looking at like 1100, and then this starts getting interesting with those attributes. So here's something maybe I haven't talked about before. Reduced damage from range, reduced damage from melee, and reduced damage from elites. Reduced damage from elites is singularly more valuable because it includes melee and ranged attacks, in addition to any other sort of environmental attack that the monsters are doing to you. And let's face it, no one's worried about white mobs right now, so damage from elites is everything. And if you can get a 5, 6, 7 reduced damage from elites on a chest or a legendary item or something, that is a very significant affix to get. It's hard to overvalue that, but it's certainly not enough to keep this piece afloat. As a wizard, I'm running with Blur as a passive, 20% reduced melee, and I think one of my other pieces also has reduced melee, and then on my bracers have 6% reduced ranged. So I'm looking at oh no, I guess not. Only the passive Blur ability, so it's 20 and 6. I'm looking at buying a chest right now that has 7% reduced from elites, which would help quite a bit. I'd be sacrificing a bit of vitality for it, but it's the notion of, do you want to be able to take the hits and just watch your life go down, or do you want to not have the damage come in the first place? So here's a nice one-hander. It's nothing amazing, but it's right on the cusp of, you know, acceptable one-hand numbers without any really sexy affixes, and which it doesn't have. It's got, you know, a smattering of vitality, and that's about it. And it's got 5 resist all for the type of class that might be using this. So, but it'd be decent to see where those 800 weapons are at nowadays. Alright, that's pretty good. That's better. 900 and 10% attack speed. That'll sell. It's not a lot of money, but it'll definitely sell. Perfect gold numbers and nothing else. If this had vitality, or this had really anything, a little bit of crit because it's bracers, or even just a random primary might help. But I'll show it when we go to the auction house. I'll look up those perfect 25 gold, and it's not what it used to be. Strength, intellect, and vitality, huge numbers, but there's no dex. So, and it's a demon hunter only weapon. Great. If that was a 237 dex and almost a 200 vitality, this could actually have a shot for a fresh 80. Just so much primary stat there. No natural. I got excited for a second, but then I saw it was a two-hander. No natural crit damage. It's got strength on a weapon that doesn't necessarily need the strength, and the numbers are too low. Another gold find piece with a perfect magic find roll, but this isn't going to appeal to a player for a magic swap, because there's no reason to get anything but a blue item if you're just going to do a magic swap. If you want actual stats to actually fight the monster with it without swapping, then this isn't offering you anything. This would be a huge downgrade from any other gear you have. But because of the 24% gold and the thorns, this is maybe pretty appealing for a Act 3 Nightmare character farming gold. So check that one out. Thorns, especially high thorns when you get into the 4 digits, that is not to be underestimated for gold find characters. It's all about speed and efficiency, and you can only swing so fast, but when the monsters are doing damage to themselves, like barbarians, you could make a fast like sprint and then 50% increase on the thorns type of a build and just blaze through that kind of stuff. I'm speaking from like a botting programmer's perspective. Like, it's not something that I would waste my time with because it's just so much more profitable to do Act 1 or Act 3, I think. Good affixes, but numbers are just too low. Another 62 amulet. Strength, resist all, and if that was life on hit, I'd have something decent. Unfortunately, it's not. I'm not too big of a fan of the reduced duration of control and parrying effects. CC never seems to be too much of an issue for the way I play. I can always survive a jailer walling situation or frozen. I know not every build has that opportunity, but I really don't think it's a stat that people are looking for. I mean, if there's anything that you can truly classify as a bonus affix, that's going to be it. It's really not going to make someone's decision either way. Decent armor, but it's got a low chance to block, and really horrible combinations of affixes otherwise. Ugh. Low dex, super high strength. Just numbers are too low. Again, too low. Wow, so that's almost perfect life on hit. I think it's 960 something is a perfect roll. I'd be interested to see what things are going for with just merely because the insane life on hit numbers. But because it's a two-hander, I don't think it's worth anything, but it is a good point to bring up in the auction house. See where those numbers currently reside. Too low. Too low. A lot of vitality though. Again, too low. Almost a 300 and a 200 on this, but if only. You know what, I'm actually going to pull this up just in case. I'm not too keen on such high primary vitality rolls. Not really sure where the bottom drops out of those on the price. This helm is just gross. Two of the four affixes are basically wasted, so I don't think like putting a gem in this and 200 strength and resist all is gonna sell for a amulet. Okay, ID this set piece here, and then I'll reload. Wanderlust. Regen, magic find, movement. Pretty bad. It's got a really nice set bonus if you can stomach the second piece, but